Well, Ryan, we're getting ready for the weekend, of course. You've just registered your third clean sheet on the spin away from home, and a bit of a tinker with the old system as well in the last game. At the moment, would you think that that could be the best system available with the players that you've got at your disposal?
I certainly think it helps them. I think throughout the team, I think two up there helped Nev. He's been isolated in a few games recently, so it was bodies closer to him. I think it was a bit more natural for Zach and Lewis playing either side of Mickey, so it gives a little bit more balance. And it also gives Rio and Ryan a lot more freedom to get into more advanced positions, knowing that they've got that little bit more cover and support behind the football. So yeah, it's definitely something that we think helps our current group of players that we've got available. Is it something that we'll persist with? I'm not sure. We'll look at each game as it comes and think and have a look what we think will be the best suited for that game.
Yeah, I suppose straight away you've got to look what you're going to do against Grimsby, because unfortunately late on you lost the services of Lewis Lee. You would have looked at that again. What do you make of it?
It's like one step forward, two steps back. We get Joel Taverner back in the team, and then we lose Lewis Lee, which is going to be for 4 games. In truth, I thought it was a little bit reckless from Lewis. I don't think he needed to do it. State of the game, doesn't make much contact with the player. I think it was his trailing leg that actually makes contact, so it was minimal contact. But it was a stage in the game, it didn't need to happen, and I'm sure Lewis will learn from this mistake.
And on that positive note that you mentioned, you've got Joel Taverner and Charlie Kirk as 2 back in the squad. How important was that, and how good is that?
It's really important because we've been really short on numbers. So to add 2 extra bodies, and then on top of that, the quality of the 2 extra bodies that are adding to that, it's just going to give us a few more options moving forward.
Just looking at it overall, you know, you've had your fair share of injuries throughout the season, and I know as a management team you won't be blaming that for whatever happens to you at the end of the season. But is it something that you're looking at and wondering why it happens? Obviously, when you get injured in playing in the games, you can't do anything about it. But you've had a few training ground injuries as well.
Yeah, for the last 2-3 weeks we've been looking at all possible causes. We've been looking at training loads. Well, is it too much? Is it not enough? We've been looking at days we've been in, days we've been off. Is there any change in patterns that could have brought this onto us? We've looking at with everything between us, with Joe and Dan, the physios. We've been trying to cross bridges with everything. Can't really put our finger on one thing. We've continued to do the same thing that we did in day 1 in pre-season right the way up to this point. So it's something that's nothing that's standing out that's obvious, but it's something's not right, because we're having injuries in bulk in numbers. Yes, some of them have been freak injuries, which you can't do anything about. But of late, there's been a few muscular injuries, so it's something that we're trying to keep an eye on and trying to iron out and making sure that it doesn't get any worse.
For the fans to hear that, it's good that you're looking into it, even while the season's still very much boiling up for you. You know, even ahead of coming back for pre-season. I suppose the medical staff try and find out from other people as well, you know, what they could do.
Yeah, and that's when I'm saying we're looking into it. That's all the staff, it's all the medical department, sports science, and everything. Because if there is something, it's something that we can try and iron out, and areas to improve on, whatever that may be. So it's something that we can't put a finger on at the moment, but we're certainly trying to see if there's a common pattern or theme.
Well, let's look towards the weekend, of course. You're getting ready now to play Grimsby Town. You've got a 5-point cushion advantage in your favour as well, and you'll know the manager well who's coming here, of course, is David Ortel. What are you expecting?
Well, they've changed a little bit in terms of when they first went in terms of the style of football. They're a little bit more back to front, and it's possibly a needs-must for where they are at the moment in the table. It's the points that are the most important at the moment, not the performances, and that's wherever at either end of the table, and what they have done of recent weeks and last month or so is they've made themselves a lot more solid, a lot more compact, harder to beat, defend well with that back five, don't leave many gaps. So he's obviously working from that basis, being hard to beat first and foremost, which you can definitely see because the difference in results from when he first walked through the door. So it's going to be a hard test. They're going to be difficult to break down. We don't want to focus too much on them. It's more about what we can do, and how we're going to build on our Tuesday's result and hopefully kick on and get another 3 points come Saturday.
Now, you've led me into my next question as well. You've got that win at Morecambe. Hopefully that's going to, up the momentum really now for the players, the fans, and everybody connected as you go into the final few scheduled games.
Yeah, 4 games to go. You can tell there's been a little bit of edginess amongst the players with the recent 5 results prior to Tuesday night, and hopefully Tuesday's 3 points can just take the shackles off a little bit with the added players that are coming back into the group, bring that little bit of confidence back and try and pick up some momentum, hopefully what's going into the playoffs.
It's going to be a very interesting end, isn't it, on the scheduled fixtures, because you're going to be involved in a promotion game and also relegation games, so you've got some interesting fixtures right to the end.
Yeah, I think there's and we've been saying it for a number of weeks, there's going to be ups and downs. A lot of teams are playing for different things at the moment. It's tight at both ends of the table, so there's lots on it for lots of opposition. As you said, our running, we haven't got anybody that's got nothing to play for really. We've got a running that's challenging at both ends of the table, so we can't take a foot off the gas. We've got to keep working hard and hopefully put some more points on the board.
Well, we mentioned earlier in the interview that Joel Tammer and Charlie Kirk are back in the squad, and more training they get, the fitter they become. Where are you up to with the other injured players? The key players like Connor Thomas, Courtney Baker-Richardson and Chris Long.
So Chris Long isn't too far away. Chris Long will either be available for a small amount of time come this Saturday. If this Saturday is a bit too soon, he'll definitely be available for Wrexham. Connor Thomas is a little bit more pleasing. We thought Connor was out for the season with his injury. It doesn't look like he's going to be. Wrexham might be 1 game too soon. We're hoping that Connor's somewhere near for Wrexham, but if not, Connor will be available for the Colchester game, which hopefully will just be in time for build some minutes going into what would be the playoffs. And Courtney had a setback with his calf, and we're waiting for some scan results to get the extent of Courtney's injury.
So just finally, you're back on home soil. 1 or 2 results have just dipped a little bit at home, which is unusual because you've carried a good long run of real good home form. But if you can take those 3 points, who knows, it could be the one that gets you over the line for the playoffs. But what it will do is it'll have you a decent set of points in a week.
Yeah, absolutely. We just got to build on Monday's performance. It wasn't the finest of performances we've performed this year, but for the circumstances, I thought the players dug deep. They did what they needed to do. There was an improvement with the football as well that I thought for stages. Still need to keep working at it. If we can build on that and improve come Saturday and get 3 points on Saturday, that should consolidate as being in the playoffs, and then we've almost then got 2 free hits to try and get as many points as we can on the board and keep pushing towards what would be a playoffs.